illustrating or pointing out are just someone whose life has not been consumed with politics, but no one cares about that. He does have serious
that's certainly
ideas.
one way of putting it, Anne. That is certainly one way of putting it. What I'm talking about is a man who decided a few moments ago that he wanted to be a Republican, picked up a whole host of...
That isn't true. He's been a Republican since 1988.
Oh.
He was at the Republican National Convention talking like a conservative.
He hasn't done very well as a Republican, given he had no Republican positions. He cozied up to Hillary Clinton and he gave the Democrats a bunch of money.
Of course he does. He's a businessman. That's the silliest complaint. Of course he does.
All right, and so it went. And joining us now is Charles C.W. Cooke, contributor, National Review, co-host of the Mad Dogs and Englishmen podcast, and author of the Conservatarian Manifesto. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
Good to talk to you. My pleasure. All right, so today the poll from CNN shows that a month ago Donald Trump was trailing Hillary Clinton in a national race by 16 points. Today it's down to 6. Of course, yesterday we had the Fox poll that shows he's has a double-digit lead over Jeb Bush in the national poll. Is there any stopping him? And if not, I mean, you know, why do you think from what you said to Ann Coulter, why do you think he hasn't suffered consequences based on what you said so far?
Well, he's certainly gone on longer than I would have imagined, and a lot longer than I would have hoped. I do think eventually people will tire of him. It won't just be that his many, many unconservative positions come to light, but the bravado will tire. Why is he where he is? I think it's a combination of things. I think he is talking about immigration, and immigration is an issue that Republicans are concerned about. They're critical of their own party, sometimes reasonably, on that front. I don't trust Donald Trump for a moment here. He had completely the opposite view a couple of years ago. In fact, after the election, he blamed Romney's loss on the self-deportation line. He said that they had failed to talk properly about Hispanics and about immigrants in general. Well, this is a man who subsequently came out and described Mexicans as rapists. But it nonetheless is an area which has perhaps been underserved. And the other reason that he's doing so well is he's bombastic. He is tapping into that desire both on the left and the right for a strong man. It's an unfortunate part of the human condition, but it's a constant one. That, though, I think may eventually be his undoing.
Well, you know, on immigration, for instance, his opening remarks, some construed as racist, but it resonated. And the polls on his remarks the other day about his detailed plan on immigration, where it calls for deportation and the end of the 14th Amendment and the end of anchor babies, the polls today show that most Americans agree with that. So, you know, again, who's out of touch? Is it Donald Trump or is it the pundits?
Well, I think one has to distinguish between the concerns that Donald Trump is raising. Again, I think cynically, but the concerns that he's raising and his way of speaking about them and his plans. You know, it's one thing to say that the Republican Party has been unresponsive when it comes to illegal immigration. That's true. It's another thing, for that matter, to say that Republicans have genuinely failed over the last perhaps not just 7 but 15, 16 years to bring about broad conservative change. But there is a degree to which the way that he is talking about these questions is unhelpful. Now, I understand the flip side of that is that that's why people like him. But his discussion, for example, of the 14th Amendment is just quite stupid. There are different interpretations of the 14th Amendment, but the way he sees it, the Supreme Court is suddenly going to side with him. After what, 150 years of differing jurisprudence, there's no case there. There's no historical analysis there. I think that matters if you're going to try to win rather than just grieve in public.
Well, true. I mean, he could have talked about legislation and different things, and maybe he will eventually. Quickly, in the time we have left, about a minute, Hillary and her spectacle yesterday when asking if wiping the server meant wiping it down with a cloth. I mean, she's in big trouble, no?
She may well be. In fact, my view is that she has possibly committed 2 serious felonies. I think even worse than that, if there is such a thing, is the way she is so flippant. She believes, possibly correctly knows, that she's above the law, and so she started making jokes about Snapchat, about wiping down servers, as if this is funny. It's not funny. If I were a low-level employee in the State Department, I'd probably have been fired now, if not in prison. That's not injustice or privilege.
Absolutely. She has this air of arrogance about her, absolutely, and she's exhibited it. Charles, thank you very much, sir. Great to talk to you. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, a lot more, but first, as Donald Trump continues to lead the polls and surge closer to Hillary Clinton in the general election poll, the popularity of his cap surges as well. Now you can get your very own Make America Great Again cap. It's a $25 value free with this offer. Just pay shipping and handling. Go to newsmax.com/TrumpCap or call 1-800-933-8396. That's newsmax.com/TrumpCap.